Okay, we're looking at number 24 on the review. On this one, we want to use the properties of logarithms to expand the logarithm in terms of x, y, and z. So before I get started on this, I'm going to show you, this is in your notes for this section. These are the three main rules that we're going to be using. So the product rule, so if I want to split a single log that has a product, I can split it into two logs, but I'm going to have an addition sign in the middle. Okay, quotient rule, if I'm dividing, when I split it into two logs, I subtract. And when I'm raising something to a power, I can pull that number off to the front and multiply. The reason these work is, remember that logs are actually exponents, so they do follow exponent rules. So when I am expanding, I usually start, I like to start with these two first and then do power rule last. Okay, so if we go back to this question, all right, so I'm seeing a product on the top, so I'm seeing x times y, and then a quotient on the bottom. I don't see any power, so I'm not going to use my power rule. So I want to split this into three separate logs. They're all going to have base b. So first I'm going to do the x. Now this is a product, so whenever I expand it, it becomes a plus. This will be log base b of y. And then z's in the denominator, that's my quotient. So remember, when I'm expanding, that becomes my minus. All right, and then that would be a fully expanded logarithm. Now b's a little trickier. Before I get started, we don't have a way to handle cube roots, but we do have a way to handle exponents. So remember that a cube root is the same as a power of 1/3. So I've got a couple ways I can handle this. I could go ahead and do the power rule first, which I generally don't, but since it's in parentheses, I could go ahead and take that, and I'm going to pull that off to the front. All right, so that's my power rule. So that would give me 1/3 times the natural log of x times y. Now this is a product, so now I can expand that. Now when I expand, the 1/3 is going to apply to all of it. So that's going to be the natural log of x plus the natural log of y. So remember my product rule, that turns into a plus when I go to two logs. Now I can distribute the 1/3, and I get 1/3 times the natural log of x plus 1/3 times the natural log of y, and then that's fully expanded. All right, so for C, it's a little bit like part A. I'm going to start the same way. I've got a product in the top and a quotient in the bottom. So I'm going to start with log base b of x to the third. So I have a product, I'm going to put a plus there. Log base b of square root of y. Then my z's are in the bottom, that's a quotient, so I put a minus log base b of z squared. Now I did product and quotient rule, now I need to do power rule. So I can see on these first ones, I can see the powers, and I know that I need to pull those off to the front. But when I come over here to square root of y, I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to rewrite that. So instead of square root of y, I'm going to rewrite that as y to the 1/2. Remember, power of 1/2 is the same thing as taking the square root. Then I can pull that number off to the front. So that's going to give me 3 times log base b of x plus 1/2 times log base b of y minus 2 times log base b of z. All right, so once I've done all that, that would be fully expanded.